Beautiful. It's really too early morning. But am I audible? And yes, the network is alright. Just check and tell me if the network is alright. Then I will just move forward with the live. Is the network alright? I hope it is working fine. There's a bit of a lag here that I can see. I don't know the reason behind the lag. And there is a slight lag. I'll just check. Yeah, there is. There is little lag, I guess. There's little lag, yeah. But yeah, that's I think fine. I will just check the and I will, yeah, it's all fine. Let's get on to the live. Yeah. So we're reading this book today, Sapiens: A Brief History of Mankind by Yuval Noah Harari. Yeah. This is really early morning and I'm a bit sleepy also. I don't know how I'm just doing it. But yeah, morning time is better, I guess. For some reason, morning time is better. I don't know. My phone took a update and it is working. The internet is slow. I don't know what's the reason. Yeah. So yeah, I have these two books: *Sapiens*, A Brief History of Humankind, and *Homo, A Brief History of Tomorrow*. I don't know how tomorrow can be a history. But yeah, but I love this thing. This fingerprint and this fingerprint with circuits. I love this. I really love this. Yeah, *Sapiens*, A Brief History of Humankind, written by Yuval Noah Harari. I encourage all of us, whatever our beliefs, to question the basic narratives of our world, to connect past developments with present concerns, and not to be afraid of controversial issues. Dr. Yuval Noah Harari was a PhD in history from the University of Oxford and now lectures at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Specializing in the world history, his books *Sapiens*, *Homo, and 21 Lessons from the 21st Century have become an international phenomenon. In loving memory of my father, Shlomo Harari. The book is divided into four sections: the cognitive revolution, the agricultural revolution, the unification of humankind, and the scientific revolution. So we will go forward with the first part, the cognitive revolution, and the first chapter, the animal of no significance. It starts with the timeline, obviously, for the sections. So history, timeline of history, years before the present. 13.8 billion, matter and energy appear, beginning of physics, atoms and molecules appear, beginning of chemistry. For a 4.5 billion years before the present, formation of planet Earth. 3.8 billion years before the present, emergence of organisms, beginning of biology. 6 million years before the present, last common grandmother of humans and chimpanzees. 2.5 billion years before the present, humans evolved in Africa, first stone tools. 2 million years before the present, humans spread Africa to Eurasia. Humans spread Africa to Eurasia. Evolution of different human species. 500,000. Netherlands evolved in Europe and the Middle East. 300,000. Daily usage of fire. 200,000. Homo sapiens evolves in East Africa. 70,000. The cognitive revolution, emergence of fictive language. Beginning of history, sapiens spread out of Africa. 45,000. Sapiens settled Australia, extinction of Australian megafauna. 30,000. Extinction of Neanderthals. 16,000. Sapiens settles extinction of American megafauna. 13,000 before the present. So 13,000 years before the present. Extinction of Homo floresiensis. Homo sapiens, the only surviving human species. 12,000 years before the present. The agricultural revolution. Domestication of plants and animals. Permanent settlements. 5,000 years before the present. First kingdom, script and money. Polytheistic religions. 4,250. First empire, the Akkadian Empire of Sargon. 2500 years before the present. Invention of coinage, a universal money. The Persian Empire, a universal political order for the benefit of all humans. Buddhism in India, a universal truth to liberate all beings from suffering. 2000. Han Empire in China. Roman Empire in Mediterranean. Christianity. 1400. Islam. 500. The scientific revolution. Humankind admits its ignorance and begins to acquire unprecedented power. Europeans begin to conquer America and the oceans. The entire planet becomes a single historical arena. The rise of 200 years before the present. The Industrial Revolution. Family and community are replaced by state and market. Massive extinction of plants and animals. The present. Humans transcend the boundaries of planet Earth. Nuclear weapons threaten the survival of humankind. Organisms are increasingly shaped by intelligent design rather than natural selection. The future. Intelligent design becomes the basic principle of life. First, non-organic life forms. Homo sapiens is replaced by superhumans. That's it. Sapiens, a brief history of humankind. Part 1, the cognitive revolution. A human handprint made about 30,000 years ago on the wall of Chauvet-Pontiac cave in the southern France. Somebody tried to say, I was here. An animal of no significance. About 14 billion years ago, matter, energy, time, and space came into being in what is known as Big Bang. The Big Bang. The story of these fundamental features of our universe is called physics. About 300,000 years ago, after their appearance, matter and energy started to coalesce into complex structures called atoms, which then combine into molecules. The story of atoms, molecules, and the interactions is called chemistry. 4 billion years ago, on a planet called Earth, certain molecules combine to form particularly large and intricate structures called organisms. The story of organisms is called biology. About 70,000 years ago, organisms belonging to the species of Homo sapiens started to form even more elaborate structures called cultures. To form even more elaborate structures called cultures. The subsequent development of these human cultures is called history. Three important revolutions shaped the course of history. The cognitive revolution, kickstarted about 70,000 years ago. The agricultural revolution, sped it up 12,000 about 12,000 years ago. The scientific revolution, which got underway only 500 years ago, may well end history and start something completely different. This book tells the story of how these three revolutions have affected humans and their fellow organisms. There were humans long before there was history. Animals, much like modern humans, first appeared about 2.5 million years ago. But for countless generations, they did not stand out from the myriad other organisms that populated the planet. On a hike in East Africa 2 million years ago, you might well have encountered a familiar cast of human characters, anxious mothers cuddling their babies, and clutches of carefree children playing in the mud. Temperamental youths chafing against the dictates of society and very elders who just wanted to be left in peace. Chest thumping machos trying to impress the local beauty, and wise old matriarchs who had already seen it all. These archaic humans loved, played, formed close relationships, and competed for the status and power. But so did chimpanzees, baboons, and elephants. There was nothing special about humans. Nobody, least of all humans themselves, had any inkling about their descendants who would one day walk on the moon, split the atom, fathom the genetic code, and write history books. The most important prehistoric humans is that they were insignificant animals with no more impact on their environment than gorillas, fireflies, or jellyfish. Biologists classify organisms into species. Animals are said to belong to the same species if they tend to mate with each other, giving birth to fertile offspring. Horses and donkeys have a recent common ancestor and share many physical traits, but they show little sexual interest in one another. They will mate if induced to do so, but their offsprings called mules are sterile. Mutations in donkey DNA can therefore never cross over to horses or vice versa. The two types of animals are consequently considered two distinct species moving along separate evolutionary paths. By contrast, a bulldog and a spaniel may look very different, but they are members of the same species, sharing the same DNA pool. They will happily mate and their puppies will grow up to pair off with other dogs and produce more puppies. Species that evolved from a common ancestor are bunched together under the heading genus, plural genera. Lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars are different species within the genus Panthera. Biologists label organisms with a two-part Latin genus followed by species. Lions, for example, are called Panthera leo. The species Is the sound all right now? I think there was a sound. Yeah, I think it's all right now. Yeah. Homo sapiens too belongs to a family. This banal fact used to be history's most closely guarded secrets. Homo sapiens long preferred to view itself as set apart from animals, an orphan who has no family, no cousins, and most importantly, no parents. But that's just not the case. Like it or not, we are members of a large and particularly noisy family called the Great Apes. Our nearest living relatives include chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. The chimpanzees are the closest. Just 6 million years ago, a single family ape, a single, yeah, just 6 million years ago, a female ape had two daughters. One became the ancestor of all chimpanzees, the other is our own grandmother. Skeletons in the closet. Homo sapiens has kept hidden and Homo sapiens has kept hidden an even more disturbing secret. Not only do we possess an abundance of uncivilized cousins, once upon a time we had quite a few brothers and sisters as well. We are used to thinking about ourselves as the only humans because for the last 10,000 years our species has indeed been the only human species around. Let the real meaning of the word human is an animal belonging to the genus Homo, and there used to be many other species of this genus besides Homo sapiens. Moreover, as we shall see in the last chapter of the book, in not so distant future, we might again have to contend with non sapiens humans. To clarify this point, I will often use the term sapiens to denote members of the species Homo sapiens, while reserving the term human to refer to all members of the genus Homo. Humans first evolved Humans first evolved in East Africa about 2.5 million years ago from an earlier genus of apes called Australopithecus, which means southern ape. About 2 million years ago, some of these archaic men and women left their homeland to journey through and settle vast areas of North Africa, Europe, and Asia. Since survival in the snowy forest of North Europe required different traits than those needed to stay alive in the Indonesia's streaming jungles, human populations evolved in different directions. The result was several distinct species, to each of which scientists have assigned a pompous Latin name. The humans in the European and West Asia evolved into Homo thalensis, man from the Neander Valley, popularly referred to as Neanderthals. Neanderthals, bulkier and more muscular than us sapiens, were well adapted to the cold climate of Ice Age Western Eurasia. The most eastern regions of Asia were populated by Homo erectus, a upright man who survived there for close to 2 million years, making it the most durable human species ever. This record is unlikely to be broken even by our own species. It is doubtful whether Homo sapiens will still be around 1,000 years from now, so 2 million years is really out of our league. On the island of Java in Indonesia, the Homo solensis, man of the Solo Valley, who has suited to the life in the tropics. On another Indonesian island, the small islands of Flores, archaic humans underwent a process of dwarfing. Humans first reached Flores when the sea level was exceptionally low. The island was easily accessible from the mainland. When the seas rose again, some people were trapped on the island, which was poor in resources. Big people who need a lot of food died first. Smaller fellows survived much better. Over the generations, the people of Flores became dwarfs. This unique species, known by scientists as Homo florensis, reached a maximum height of only 1 meter and weighed no more than 25 kilograms. They were nevertheless able to produce stone tools and even managed occasionally to hunt down some of the island's elephants. Though, to be fair, the elephants were a dwarf species as well. In 2010, another lost sibling was rescued from oblivion when scientists excavating Denisova cave in Siberia, discovered a fossil finger bone. Genetic analysis proved that the finger belonged to a previously unknown human species, which was named Homo denisova. Who knows how many lost relatives of ours are waiting to be discovered in other caves, on other islands, and in other climes. While these humans were evolving in Europe and Asia, evolution in East Africa did not stop. The cradle of humanity continued to nurture numerous new species such as Homo rudolfensis, man from Lake Rudolph, Homo ergaster, working man, and eventually our own species, which we have immodestly named Homo sapiens, wise man. The members of some of these species were massive and others were dwarfs. Some were fearsome hunters and others meek plant gatherers. Some lived only on a single island, while many roamed over continents, but all of them belonged to the genus Homo. They were all human beings. It's a common fallacy to envision these species as arranged in a straight line of descent, with Ergaster begetting Erectus begetting the Neanderthals evolving into us. This linear model gives the mistaken impression that at any particular moment only one type of human inhabited the earth, and that all earlier species were merely older models of ourselves. The truth is that from about 2 million years ago until around 10,000 years ago, the world was home at one and at the same time to several human species. And why not? Today there are many species of bears: brown bears, black bears, grizzly bears, and polar bears. The earth was once walked by at least six species of man. It's our current exclusivity, not the multi species past, that is peculiar and perhaps incriminating. As we will shortly see, the sapiens have good reasons to repress the memory of siblings. The cost of thinking. Despite their many differences, all human species share several defining characteristics. Most notably, humans have extraordinarily large brains compared to other animals. Mammals weighing 60 kilograms have an average brain size of 200 cubic centimeters. The earliest man and woman, 2.5 million years ago, had brains of about 600 cubic centimeters. Modern sapiens sport a brain averaging 1200 to 1400 cubic centimeters. Neanderthals' brains were even bigger. That evolution should select for larger brains may seem to us like, well, a no brainer. We are so enamored of our high intelligence that we assume that when it comes to cerebral power, more must be better. But if that were the case, the feline family would also have produced cats who could do calculus, and frogs would by now have launched their own space program. Why are giant brains so rare in the animal kingdom? The fact is that a jumbo brain is a jumbo drain on the body. It's not easy to carry around, especially when encased inside a massive skull. It's even harder to fuel. In Homo sapiens, the brain accounts for about 2 to 3% of the total body weight, but it consumes 25% of the body's energy when the body is. By comparison, the brains of other apes require only 8% of the rest time energy. Archaic humans paid for their large brains in two ways. Firstly, they spent more time in search of food. Secondly, their muscles atrophied. Like a government diverting money from defense to education, humans diverted energy from biceps to neurons. It's hardly a foregone conclusion that this is a good strategy for survival on the savannah. A chimpanzee can't win an argument with Homo sapiens, but an ape can rip the man apart like a rag doll. Today, our big brains pay off nicely because we can produce cars and guns that enable us to move much faster than chimps and shoot them from a safe distance instead of wrestling. But cars and guns are a recent phenomenon. More than 2 million years ago, human neural networks kept growing and growing. But apart from some flint knives and pointed sticks, humans had ferocious little to show for it. What then drove forward the evolution of the massive human brain during those 2 million years? Frankly, we don't know. Another singular human trait is that we walk upright on two legs. Standing up, it's easier to scan the savannah for game on enemies, and arms that are unnecessary for locomotion are freed for other purposes like throwing stones or signaling. The more things these hands could do, the more successful their owners were. So evolutionary pressure brought about an increasing concentration of nerves and finely tuned muscles in the palms and fingers. As a result, humans can perform very intricate tasks with their hands. In particular, they can produce and use sophisticated tools. The first evidence for tool production dates from about 2.5 million years ago, and the manufacture and use of tools are the criteria by which archaeologists recognize ancient humans. Yet, walking upright has its downside. The skeleton of our primate ancestor developed for millions of years to support a creature that walked on all fours and had a relatively small head. Adjusting to an upright quite a challenge, especially when the scaffolding had to support an extra large cranium. Human body paid for its lofty vision and industrious hands with backaches and stiff necks. Women paid extra. An upright gait required narrower hips, constricting the birth canal, and this just when babies' heads were getting bigger and bigger. Death in childbirth became a major hazard for human females. Women who gave birth earlier, when the infant's brain and head were still relatively small and supple, fared better and lived to have more children. Natural selection consequently favored earlier births, and indeed, compared to other animals, humans are born prematurely when many of their vital systems are still underdeveloped. A colt can trot shortly after birth. A kitten leaves his mother to forage on its own when it's just a few weeks old. Human babies are helpless, dependent for many years on their elders for sustenance, protection, and education. This fact has contributed greatly both to the humankind's extraordinary social abilities and to its social problems. Lone mothers could hardly forage enough food for their offspring and themselves with needy children in tow. Raising children required constant help from other family members and neighbors. It takes a tribe to raise a human. Evolution thus favored those capable of forming strong societies. In addition, since humans are underdeveloped, they can be educated and socialized to a far greater extent than any other animal. Most mammals emerge from the womb like glazed earthenware emerging from a kiln. Any attempt to remolding will only scratch or break them. Humans emerge from the womb like molten glass from a furnace. They can be spun, stretched, and shaped with a surprising degree of freedom. This is why today we can educate our children to become Christian or Buddhist, capitalist or socialist, warlike or peace loving. We assume that a large brain, the use of tools, superior learning abilities, and complex social structures are huge advantages. It seems self-evident that these have made humankind the most powerful animal on earth. But humans enjoyed all of these advantages for a full of 2 million years, during which they remained weak and marginal creatures. Thus, humans who have a million years ago, or who lived a million years ago, despite of their creatures, thus humans, thus humans who lived a million years ago, despite their big brains and sharp stone tools, dwelt in constant fear of predators, rarely hunted large game, and subsisted mainly by gathering plants, scooping up insects, stalking small animals, and eating the carrion left behind by the other powerful carnivores. One of the most common use of early stone tools was to crack open bones in order to get to the marrow. Some researchers believe this was our original niche, just as woodpeckers specialize in specialize in extracting insects from the trunks of trees. The first humans specialized in extracting marrow from bones. Why marrow? Well, suppose you observe a pride of lions take down and devour a giraffe. You wait patiently until they are done. But it's still not your turn because first the hyenas and jackals, and you don't dare interfere with them, scavenge the leftovers. Only then would you and your band dare approach the carcass, look cautiously left and right, and dig into the edible tissues that remained. There is a key to understanding our history and psychology. Genus or psychology. Genus Homo's position in the food chain was, until quite recently, solidly in the middle. For millions of years, humans hunted smaller creatures and gathered what they could, all the while being hunted by larger predators. It was only 4,000 years ago that several species of man began to hunt large game on a regular basis, and only in the last 10,000 years, with the rise of Homo sapiens, that man jumped to the top of the food chain. That's, that spectacular leap from the middle to the top had enormous consequences. Other animals at the top of the pyramid, such as lions and sharks, evolved into the position very gradually over millions of years. This enabled the ecosystem to develop checks and balances that prevent lions and sharks from wreaking too much havoc. As lions became deadlier, gazelles evolved to run faster, hyenas to cooperate better, and rhinoceros to be more bad-tempered. In contrast, humankind ascended to the top so quickly that the ecosystem was not given time to adjust. Moreover, humans themselves failed to adjust. Most top predators of the planet are majestic creatures. Millions of years of dominion have filled them with self confidence. Sapiens, by contrast, is more like a banana republic dictator, having so recently been one of the underdogs of the savannah. We are full of fears and anxiety over our position, which makes us double cruel and dangerous. Many historical calamities, from deadly wars to ecological catastrophes, have resulted from this over hasty jump. Yeah, this was the first part of an animal of no significance. We are midway, and we will continue the next parts, that is called a race of cooks within an animal of no significance. Yeah, the parts are a race of cooks, our brothers keepers, and yeah, that's it. These two parts are left from an animal of no significance. So most probably I will do it like uh, two one chapter will be divided into two parts, like an animal of no significance 1 and animal of no significance 2. In a way, every chapter will be divided into two parts, and I will continue and most probably conclude this book in 40 days. It will be long. I will be getting that practice. Okay, yeah, in the meantime I will just uh, cut into this and end the live stream. Thank you for being here if you are there. Yeah, with that I'm concluding the first stream of Sapiens, a brief history of humankind. However, I will just read some of the lines written. A rare book, thrilling and breathtaking. Observer. Full of shocking and wondrous stories by Sunday Times. Here. 10,000 years ago, at least six human species inhabited the earth. Today, there is just one. Us, Homo sapiens. How did our species succeed in the battle of dominance? Why did our foraging ancestors came together to create cities and kingdoms? How did we come to believe in gods, nations, and human rights? And what will our world be like in the millennia to come? Bold, wide ranging, and provocative, Sapiens challenges everything we thought we knew about being human. Our thoughts, our actions, our power, and our future. Sapiens is a starburst of book as enjoyable as it is stimulating by Sunday Express. Brilliant. Harari is a master storyteller and an entertainer. I observer. And that's from this news. Then I will also come with sorry, that's always Sapiens, and I will also come with Homo Deus. Homo Deus is a book about what the future says. I don't know exactly, but yeah, uh, I think I will be able to read this a bit faster. I don't know. No, no. This will also take some time. This will take around 40 days, like 40 streams. I am not saying 40 days, for 40 streams surely. And this will also take the same 40 streams. I will, no, this will require around 44 streams, mean, I don't know. So I will make it around average four part of one chapter, and for this two part of one chapter. Yeah, let's go. Bye bye. Thank you for being here. See you.